It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. 96 calories available for delivery. Dan, he put on a playoff show for the ages in the bubble back in 2020. Shortly after, he tore his ACL and has been on a long road to recovery. But Dan, he's averaging 28.5 points per game in these playoffs, including a 34-point performance in Game 1 against the Suns, and one of the all-time greats, Chris Paul. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Jamal Murray is back. No Dan, no Pablo, just Samson. Okay. My goal is to get through an entire show without discussing Tucker Carlson. Jesus. We've covered this story more than CNN. I mean, enough. I'm looking at you, Samson.
I'm not saying a word.
All right.
I don't want to interrupt you. You're doing great.
Chris Paul is the gift that keeps on giving. Steph Curry, vintage. To all the people who criticized Lamar Jackson for not using an agent to help him navigate through free agency, I've got one word for you. Morons.
You were the harshest critic.
I was?
They only charge 1%. He could have gotten an agent for 1%.
Morons.
Oh, my God. We're still going to argue about it?
Morons.
Stu.
Being criticized by morons for not having an agent and securing the wealthiest contract in NFL history.
Not.
You know what Lamar Jackson had, Dan? Lamar had the last laugh. You know what the L in Lamar stands for? It stands for last laugh. It was the wealthiest contract in NFL history, wasn't it?
No, Deshaun Watson is. By far. Don't worry about the facts. Keep going.
Morons. Speaking of last laughs, LeBron, Dylan Brooks, legendary Philadelphia radio host Howard Eskin said he would have retired if the Eagles drafted Bijan Robinson. Classic Eskin. By the way, the news here is that Howard Eskin hasn't retired yet. Retiring if a team does something you don't want them to do. Top 5 radio bits done only for PR and ratings. Number 5, eating actual crow because you said you would do so if you were wrong. It's called the Brendan Tobin. Number 4, threatening to root for another team. Number 3, threatening to quit your job if a team does something you don't want them to do. Number 2, making a bet where the loser has to shave their head. Number 1, making a bet where if you lose, you have to do a show from the Clevelander in front of Charles Barkley wearing nothing but your underwear. The Le Batard. Watch out for the Phils. Clayton Kershaw off to a 5-1 start with a 1.69 ERA. Hey, Clayton, do it in the postseason. Toronto Maple Leafs, congratulations on your first playoff series win in 20 years. You know what they did, Dan?
What, Stu?
They got the monkey off their backs. The Leafs. Cantavius Caldwell-Pope always seems to be in the center of everything. KCP. Houston Texans saying they weren't using a quarterback, or they weren't taking a quarterback and then taking a quarterback. Well done. That's how you execute lying season.
Thank you.
Why are you thanking me?
Because those are fabulous observations. Are there more?
There are more.
Thank
yes.
God.
Cowboy scout Chris Vaughn calling his son Deuce Vaughn and asking him if he'd like to come to work with him next week because the Cowboys were drafting him.
Nepo, baby.
Goosebumps.
Hard worker.
Couple of Vaughns cutting it up. Also, David, nepotism. I actually wrote that down. I put it in there. Jimmy Butler, do it in the finals that aren't played in a bubble. Nathan Eovaldi is a Texas Ranger. Huh?
Who knew?
So is Andrew Heaney.
What?
2 former Marlins.
Really?
Both Texas Rangers.
Cutting it up.
Walker.
Kyle Lowry, one of the all-time greats at just getting in everyone's way. Mike, you owe him an apology.
He had a good fourth quarter last
He
night.
had a good game yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
He's
Apologize.
He's over the hill.
No, he's not a good player consistently.
He's not.
He's finished.
Be that, and I will apologize.
What do you mean he's finished?
He had a good run, but he's finished.
He just had a great game.
He's done, but thank you. We needed someone to step up in that fourth quarter, especially with Jimmy's injury, and he stepped up, and he was big down the stretch.
Kyle Lowry cannot bring a title to a team.
Congratulations to the Eagles for winning the draft. Dan, you know what the B in Jalen Brunson stands for? Bricks. Boston Bruins, enjoy your President's Cup. There's a new Mr. Game 7 in town, and his name is Carter Verhaeghe. How about that? You score a goal in overtime in Game 7, you automatically become Mr. Game 7.
Top 5 all-time player.
Swaggy?
Top 5 in the history of the Panthers.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine how you're doing that, but keep observing.
You know what the B in Brandon Montour stands for?
Brick.
Balls. Big, gigantic balls. That goal with under a minute to go.
I'm not co-signing that description.
Balls. Klay Thompson can stroke it. Monty.
Hey, yo.
Texas Rangers, welcome to the Jacob deGrom experience. The DeGrominator. What a bad contract that was.
It's just getting worse. It's not even bad
By
yet.
the start. Right?
It's getting worse by the day.
Big threes. Hustle. And the outlet pass. That's why you go out and get Kevin Love. Top 5 outlet passers of all time. This is big.
Difference maker with the Heat.
Who would you put on your top 5 outlet passers of all time? Who would you? Can you think of one off the top of your head?
Gerald Henderson.
Really? Not on mine.
Number 43 with the Celtics.
He was good and a great outlet passer. Number 5, Bill Walton. Number 4, Larry Bird. Number 3, Bill Russell. Number 2,
All Celtics.
Kevin McHale.
Celtics.
And number 1, Wes Unseld. Tony pointed at me.
Anytime that there's a two-handed pass that's crossed the court, Wes Unseld gets brought up. It doesn't matter who it is.
I wish that you had seen Wes Unseld play. He was
great.
He was really good.
Yes.
With Elvin Hayes.
Yes. Also a great outlet passer.
Also a Hall of Famer. And they won a championship.
They did.
Wes Unseld was better for the They were the Bullets back then.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington Bullets. Did you observe that? Have you been to a Bullets game?
I have not been to a Bullets game.
Are there more?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Here come the Reds. Playing good ball. Sacramento Kings. Got to walk before you run. Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers, who finally has something to do.
Go to Ranger games, you mean?
He has things to do. Yes. Ranger game, goes to a Knick game, might go to a Rangers-Devils game 7 tonight. But it appears that he left Wisconsin simply because there was nothing to do.
Do you think he got rid of his house? That's what we were talking about before the show.
In
Is his
Wisconsin?
house on the market in Green Bay?
Do you think he had a house in Green Bay?
What did he do during the season? Airbnb?
I have no idea.
I promise you he had a house in Green Bay.
It's a miserable place. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Have you
No,
been to
it's-
Kenosha? I mean,
Yes.
Really?
Don't forget, born in Milwaukee, school in Madison, camp in Eagle River.
Jesus.
Wisconsin's my jam. I love Wisconsin. I love Green Bay.
I was thinking about, it must be so fun. Like when I go on Zillow, it's not that fun of an experience. I have to limit myself a lot with things. Like I'm imagining Aaron Rodgers just perusing Manhattan. Like he has no price limit.
Fifth Avenue.
Oh, like that has to be a cool feeling of like I just moved to a new team. I'm as rich as can be. I can just pick anywhere I want to live in like these lavish apartment. Oh, I can just imagine. I want to do it. I want to like
It'd
go
be
into
like
Zillow
you
later.
in Green Bay.
Right. If I was in Green Bay.
You'd have the ability to, your money goes a long way in Green Bay. I think Rodgers keeps his place for when they retire his number. Otherwise, he'd have to stay in an Airbnb. Okay, more observations?
But
or
you could
done?
sell that thing as Aaron Rodgers' house and probably get like
They're
twice
going
as
to.
much as you
Someone's
No
gonna
doubt.
buy it.
They have to retire that number, right? They do.
Aaron
he's-
Rodgers bought a 4,000 square foot 4-bedroom house near Green Bay in 2005 for $442,000 that he sold 5 years ago. Trying to find his current house though.
What did he sell it for? Do we know?
I'm on it.
A lot. I'm guessing.
Probably say it tripled in price.
I would say more than that. Because now it's Aaron Rodgers' house, you know? And you're selling it to a Packer fan, more than likely.
Couple milli.
Yeah, a couple milli.
There's no couple millies in Green Bay.
Ah.
Go ahead.
Sacramento Kings.
Hey, they're over the bar at the airport.
Do it at home. Documentary. Aftershock. Amazing. I'm not certain there is anything more entertaining in sports than the Zeller Minutes. Rangers, Devils, Game 7, 5 words. Put the kids to bed. New Jersey, an appropriate home for the Devils, especially northern Jersey. It's hell on earth there at Kenosha. Speaking of hell, Art Briles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
Hell on.